Good afternoon, Tuber. So here we are back into Rainbow Six Siege, and I am still absolutely loving this game. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you all the operators, what they offer, how best to use them, when you're going to be using them, what each of them has in terms of ability, all that kind of lovely fun stuff. If you haven't checked out my previous videos on the game, I've actually given you in one of the videos tips on how to unlock Renown really fast. Renown is the currency in the game that you actually use to buy these operators with. First operator in each faction only costs you 500, but every time you unlock a character in a faction, the price for the next one actually does increase. So you want to be looking at unlocking and gaining as much renown as you can really fast. In my other video I explained exactly how to do this. Straight off the bat you can unlock huge amounts of renown really fast, so go back, have a look at that one. Also, if you are playing the game and you're looking at forming a bit of a clan, have a look at my other video about forming a team. Let me know your details, send me a message, all the rest of it. I go into detail in that video. Have a look at that one if you're interested at all in playing some actual tournaments and esports. I really want to get something going with this game. But without further ado, let's go into the operators. So the operators, as you can see from this page, are split into 5 different factions. So you've got your British SAS, your American FBI SWAT, your French GIGN, Russian Spetsnaz, German GSG9. Each team has 2 attacking, 2 defending. So each of the game modes in this game are actually split into either attacking or defending modes, therefore using the relevant operator for whichever game mode you're playing. If you haven't actually unlocked any operators, which you won't have right at the start, you'll be playing with just a basic default character which is called Recruit. You do have a range of different weapons. You can actually pretend to be from one of the factions using this Recruit character. You can use a couple of different weapons. None of them are customized, they're all default weapons. They don't actually have any abilities either. I think they have breaching charges and a couple of grenades. That's literally it. So as soon as you can, you do want to be unlocking operators. If you're playing Terrorist Hunt mainly, I'm going to have to give you a tip and say, first things first, unlock a attacking character. So these are the ones along the top line here. These are going to be the characters that you do use the most in Terrorist Hunt. However, you do use a couple of defending, so as soon as you can as well, after you've unlocked a couple attacking characters, unlock some defending. If you're playing mainly the multiplayer mode, so the 5v5, so attacking defending, obviously you're going to be using a different one each round. Get an attacking one first, then get a defending one is what I'm going to say probably, because the attacking one is going to probably benefit you a little bit more than the defending one, although some of the defenders are actually really worthwhile getting. Some I'll explain in a minute, but as you can see, I've actually unlocked 3 attacking and 2 defendings at the minute. So going into unlock new operator, so like I said, we've got 5 different factions here, so I'm going to quickly go through all of them. I actually already have one from the British SAS already, which is why my next one's going to be costing me 1,000 renown, as you can see there. However, first one is Sledge, then you got Smoke and Mute. These are the defenders are always at the bottom, attackers are always at the top. So each time you bring up a new character, it explains exactly what their actual skill is, what they're going to be bringing to the party as such. Actually explains what primary weapons they're using, secondary weapons they have access to, gadgets they have access to. Each one obviously has a different loadout that you can customize and you can bring to a fight. I'm not going to go through each of the abilities, literally I'm just going to show you very quickly that each one does have a unique ability, so obviously have a good look through, read them, see what fits your playstyle the best. There's such a varying range of them, to be honest, that really they are all going to be bringing a good benefit to the team over the Recruit character. But to be honest, it all depends on how you play the game. If you like to be an attacking character, then obviously you want to be using something like cluster charges here, something that's going to be bringing a lot of pain to the enemy very quick, whether that be in multiplayer or in Terrorist Hunt. Defending, there is some really good defender characters. Back in the GIGN are probably, I personally think, the strongest defending characters at the minute, because one can actually revive your teammates up from a down position using a stim gun, so you can actually shoot them across the room and that will pick them up, whereas if you don't have that, you have to run over there, you have to pick them up manually. It takes a couple of seconds and obviously you're quite vulnerable when you're doing this. The other defender, Rook, I think it's called, actually drops a armor pack, so that actually gives you extended armor for all your team. Each team member can pick this up, and they're obviously going to have a lot more armor, which is going to give them a lot more survivability in a match, which is obviously really good. But don't discount any of the defending or attacking characters. Like I said, they're all really useful in different situations, so just have a good look through all of them. You'll find a couple that you really like, you'll find a couple that you think, no, I'm never going to ever use that ability. So obviously the ones that you aren't ever going to use, don't worry about picking them up until you've got enough renown right at the end, just to unlock all your characters really. Just bear in mind, each time you do unlock a character in a faction, like I've been saying, it does increase the price of the next character all the way up to 2,000 renown. So once you've unlocked the one, it goes up to 1,000 from 500. Once you've unlocked two, 1,500. Once you've unlocked three and you're unlocking the last one in the faction, 2,000 renown is a huge amount. So unless you're sure you're going to be playing them, and you're going to be playing them a lot, don't worry about this until you've customized all your weapons and all the rest of it, which I'm going to go into now. So back on your operatives, once you've unlocked one, you can actually customize their loadout. You can customize their weapons, you can customize what they're actually bringing with them. Going into Ash is probably my main character at the minute, and then going into loadout. So as you can see, I've got the choice of two different primary weapons depending on which one you fancy. I always like the G36C, so that's the one that I'm focusing on at the minute. Obviously it gives you a range of different different attributes for the gun down here as well. So obviously damage is how much damage each bullet's going to be hitting for. Fire rate is how fast the gun fires. Mobility is how easy it is to maneuver around. Capacity, that's the amount of ammo per clip. And then recoil pattern, this is when you're just unloading into something. This is how it actually ventures up at the scale. So obviously the G36C compared to the R4C has a far tighter recoil pattern. Once you actually look at it, a few different weapons, you'll learn how to actually understand this. It's quite easy, to be honest, but don't worry about that. Just pick a gun that you know is going to be really your preferred type of weapon. So not only do you have the ability to actually go in and change what gun you're bringing to a battle, you can actually go in, fit sights, fit barrels, fit grips, fit underbarrels, different weapon skins. Obviously all the weapon skins are going to be costing you either renown or the actual currency. You've got to put money into the game, but I don't think, to be honest, unless you're really playing it and you really like a skin, I personally am not going to be putting any money into the game. I've already paid for the game, why should I be putting more money in? That's the way I view it. If their skin costs renown, that's fair enough, but I don't mind spending renown on a skin if I really like it. This one I actually spent 750 renown on. This one I got for free because I was actually in the beta, so that's another reward that if you go into your Ubisoft panel, which when you're in the game just press shift and F2, you can actually unlock this one as the fire skin, which I think applies to every single weapon in the game. Just kind of breaks up the boring standard grey, black, you know, just a very boring colour, to be honest. But there's a few weapons in here, a few of them you can unlock with renown, a few with both renown or real money, and some just with real money. So just have a good look, see what you fancy, obviously pick what you fancy. If you're willing to put money into the game, you're a little bit crazy, personally, I think, because you've already bought it, but obviously it's up to you. Put money in if you really fancy a skin. Going back into the sights and all the attachments and everything, obviously sights aren't going to affect anything too much. These are usually either 1x or 2x with the ACOG sights, so obviously pick the one that you prefer. Pick a couple. They aren't actually too horrendously overpriced, they're actually fairly cheap, so pick a couple, have a play with each of them, see what you fancy, see what actually works for you best. Barrels, these do affect your attribute, so because I've got a suppressor on at the minute, obviously people aren't going to be able to hear me when I'm shooting their buddy down the corridor, but obviously it does have an effect on the damage. If I put a flash hider or a compensator or something like that, as you can see, my damage does actually go up, which is indicated by this little green arrow and a little green blob on the actual scale of how much it affects it. If you do go over to a attachment that's going to obviously degrade your weapon in any way, is reverses. So you have a little red arrow that points downwards, and obviously a little red blob which shows how much you're actually losing, whether it be any of these at all, it will show you exactly what's happening with it. Obviously, silencers, they do make a bit of a difference in terms of people not being able to hear you. I personally always like playing with a silencer, so that's why I've used it. But if you want to be loud, if you want to be not too worried about what you're if you're not too worried about bringing loads of enemies to you when you're shooting people, then don't worry about it, obviously. Exactly the same with the pistols as well. You can come in, you can change all the skins, all the rest of it. So it's all exactly the same, really easy to use. Every character has this ability, so all you've got to do is go into your operators page, choose whichever character you want to actually customize, go into loadout, and then everything from there is really simple to do. That's really much it, to be honest, about the operators, other than going really into depth, which I can do once I unlock a load. I can show you how to actually play each one to the best of their abilities. Leave me a comment below if you want to see video series on each of the operators. Glad to do it. As you can see, I'm unlocking them pretty quickly. I can actually unlock a good few more now as well because my renown's so high. Like I said at the beginning, go have a look at the other videos I've already done, because there's a load of other stuff in there that you can do. And each time, I'm losing myself with my words now. Have a look at my other videos. One of them explains how to get loads of renown really quick. The other one explains how to get in contact with me in terms of forming a clan up. Really interested in doing that. But like I said, this is really much it about all the operators and everything. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying the game just as much as I am. I'm absolutely loving it. Gonna leave it here. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope the video has helped you in some way as well. As always, I will catch you in the next one.